I would say this image of Peter Pan pretty much sums up most people's reactions to this news. Hello, this is Mara Jade, and I'm here with another video, and I found this gem on Bounding into Comics entitled Disney Plus removes Peter Pan and several other films from children's section over, quote, racist content. So basically, this is Nanny State 101, folks. This is Big Brother deeming what is appropriate and inappropriate for people to watch. In this case, children. Not leaving it up to the parents to decide what is appropriate or not for their children to watch. Not leaving it up to the parents to decide how to teach their children what is exactly offensive about what is shown in these cartoons and how it was like this back then and how it's not like this now. Nanny State, folks. Clown World. But let's go into this article so you can see what Disney is doing and why they're making this move. So without further ado, let's dive into this, shall we? Alright. Several classic Disney films have reportedly been banned from the children's section of Disney Plus streaming service due to their, quote, racist content. Which, most likely, in most of these cartoons I have seen, the racist content, the inappropriate content within the cartoon is a fraction, a tiny fraction of the entirety of the cartoon. A tiny fraction. Probably will not even register on children's minds. Most who are watching this, children I should say who are watching this, are kindergarten, first grade age thereabouts. They're not watching this cartoon picking apart the idiosyncrasies of the time period and the portrayals of certain characters. They're watching it to be entertained. And if parents don't like what's in the cartoons, well, guess what? They won't show their children. Or at least they'll wait until the children are older before they show them the cartoons. Leave it up to the parents. That's who should decide what their children can and cannot watch. Not Big Brother, the parents. But let's go into this. As reported by the Daily Mail, bosses at Disney have blocked anyone under the age of 7 from watching the 1953 animated classic Peter Pan on its streaming service over concerns that it portrays racial stereotypes, ostensibly due to the film's stereotypical depiction of Native Americans. Again, do you have to like it? No. Is it a big part of the cartoon? No. Should it be up to the parents to decide what's offensive or not? What they should be teaching their children or not? Yes. Not the bosses at Disney, not the Disney overlords. Oh, and by the way, Peter Pan has the hots for Tiger Lily. Did they even bother to mention that? He has a crush on her. In fact, Disney actually describes their own movie as wrong. Walt Disney, like him or not, is rolling in his grave right now. A content advisory message posted alongside the classic animated film reads, "This program includes negative depictions and or mistreatment of people or cultures. These stereotypes are wrong then and are wrong now." Taking over the parental role, essentially. Even though the Native Americans in the Peter Pan cartoon are allies of Peter Pan, they're the good guys of Peter Pan. No. Again, taken completely out of context from the time period set in. Now, again, I reiterate before you at me, it does not automatically mean you have to necessarily like the depictions. I grew up watching classic films, Hollywood films. And I would have to say, a majority of the films back then, I did not like the portrayals of black actors, Asian actors, and so forth. They were basically reduced to almost servitude roles or villainous roles, with few exceptions here and there. But do I go out of my way to tell people they cannot watch a film because of that? No. Do I go out of my way to try to cancel those films? No. I understand that they are the reflection of the time period they were filmed in, and the film itself I enjoy. I can criticize that aspect of the film, but I overall enjoy the film, and I leave it up to the other people to decide if they want to watch it or not. That's how it works. It then explains why Disney is not removing the film from their streaming service given they believe the movie is morally bad. Morally bad. Again, the Native Americans in the film are Peter Pan's allies. They're the good guys. The message continues, rather than remove this content, we want to acknowledge its harmful impact, learn from it, and spark conversation to create a more inclusive future together. That should be up to the parents to do! Children are not watching these films, picking apart the idiosyncrasies of the time period they are created in. They are not picking apart the reflection of peoples during that time period. They are watching a cartoon about a boy who can fucking fly in a place called Neverland. Disney is committed to creating stories with inspirational and aspirational themes that reflect the rich diversity of the human experience around the globe. Ma representation, ma diversity, ma inclusion. That's basically what we're going with, folks, here. That's the clown world we're living in, where diversity is only reflected upon your skin color, sexuality, or gender. Nothing to do at all with how you are as a person. No, the superficial qualities of you as a person. That's diversity now, folks. That's diversity now, and that's what Disney is doing. Disney then instructs individuals to visit their Stories Matter section of their official website. Well, fuck that, I'm not doing it. The only reason I have Disney Plus at this point is because it's a free service through Verizon. Once that's done, whenever it is finally done, guess what? It's sayonara mouse. On the Stories Matter section of their website, they explain why they deem Peter Pan wrong. Oh, pray tell, why do you think it's wrong? Their message reads, the film portrays Native people in a stereotypical manner that reflects neither the diversity of Native peoples nor their authentic cultural traditions. It shows them speaking in an unintelligible language and repeatedly refers to them as Redskins, an offensive term. Yes, the term is offensive. And like I said, you don't have to like everything in every cartoon or movie. You can be upset at this. You can be insulted by this. But for Disney to step in, acting as a nanny for everyone, taking away the parental role of the genuine parents of the children, is flat out wrong in my opinion. Leave it up to the parents to decide what their children can and cannot watch. That's the whole point of parental controls on certain platforms. Disney has that. Netflix has that. Other streaming services has that. Leave it up to the parents to decide what their children can and cannot watch. Stop acting like fucking Big Brother for once. It continues. Peter and the Lost Boys engage in dancing, wearing headdresses and other exaggerated tropes, a form of mockery and appropriation of Native people's culture and imagery. Again, they're allies. Again, this is kind of a celebration. They're not mocking the Native Americans. They're taking part in their culture. Is it exaggerated? Yes. Is it a little over the top? Yes. But did you watch the fucking cartoon? Oh my god. Alongside Peter Pan, audiences have discovered that 3 additional films were also barred from Disney Plus's child-specific portal. Child-specific portal, I will also add to that these children can still watch the films if the parents log into their accounts. Again, why did you even bother? These films include The Aristocats, which depicts the Siamese cat Sean Gunn with a stereotypical East Asian appearance. He's not that big in the film, from what I remember. Not that big in the film. Like, again, I cannot beat the dead horse enough. Do you have to like it? No. Do you have to find it offensive? Not necessarily. But if you find it offensive, again, just don't watch it. Just don't watch it. Don't show your children. It's that simple. This is the same crowd that when we were criticizing the direction of the Star Wars franchise just told us, if we don't like it, don't watch it. But they do this, and they're proving themselves once again to be the hypocrites they are. The content advisory alongside the Aristocats is the same as Peter Pan. Blah, blah, blah. You know, bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. On the Stories Matter section of their website, Disney writes, the cat is depicted as a racist caricature of East Asian peoples with exaggerated stereotypical traits such as slanted eyes and buck teeth. He sings in poorly accented English voiced by a white actor and plays the piano with the chopsticks. Who fucking cares if it was a white actor voicing him? Again, beating the dead horse. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Again, I grew up on classic Hollywood films. The depictions of certain demographics, black people, Asian people, Mexican people, and so forth, were never depicted well at all early on in the franchise's film history. They weren't. They were generally reduced to stereotypical roles. Do I like it? No. But do I tell people what they can and cannot watch? No. Do I try to cancel them? No. I just don't watch them if I don't like it. But opposite that were the Charlie Chan films. Yes, Charlie Chan was played by Sidney Toler in most of them. Not exactly an Asian actor, but at the same time, they showed that demographic as the heroes. He was the hero of the film. He solved the mysteries. Alongside his sons, most times, like number one son, number two son, as they were referred to. Asian actors, Ki Luke and Victor Sun Young. And not every movie made then was stereotypical. They add, this portrayal reinforces the perpetual foreigner stereotype, while the film also features lyrics that mock the Chinese language and culture such as Shanghai, Hong Kong, egg, foo young, fortune cookie, always wrong. Who the fuck cares? Swiss Family Robinson, whose pirate antagonists have been accused of both blackface and yellowface, has also been removed from children's accounts and features the same content advisory. On the Stories Matter section, it explains the pirates who antagonize the Robinson family are portrayed as a stereotypical foreign menace. You do realize that piracy was not solely, exclusively the property of Europeans, right? Ever heard of the fucking Barbary pirates, Disney? Ever heard of those? Ever heard of them? Many appear in yellowface or brownface and are costumed and exaggerated in an inaccurate manner with top-knit hairstyles, queues, robes, and overdone facial makeup and jewelry, reinforcing their barbarism and otherness. Again, have you ever heard of the Barbary pirates? Piracy was not exclusive to Europe. It was not exclusive to the West. At all. Again. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Don't decide what people can and cannot watch. Don't decide what people can and cannot show their children. Or don't decide what the children can watch. Don't act like the fucking parents. You're not the nanny. Leave it up to the parents. It concludes, they speak in an indecipherable language, presenting a singular and racist representation of Asian and Middle Eastern peoples. Well, guess fucking what, Disney? I'm half Middle Eastern. I watched that film when I was a kid. Guess what? I wasn't thinking that. I was thinking, these are the bad guys, and the Robinson family have to survive. I also cracked open history books, and I can tell you, again, piracy was not relegated to Europe. It was not relegated to the West. Other cultures, like fucking this, succumb to piracy as well. Sorry, I just hit my desk. Moving on. And Dumbo. Yes, Dumbo, a fucking cartoon about a flying elephant, which features a flock of crows bearing African-American personalities and characteristics that some consider to be offensive. Again, do you have to like it? No, I'm not saying you have to like it. I'm not saying because I watched these cartoons and I wasn't exactly offended by it necessarily, or at least enough to not watch the film, is, like, I cannot even at this point. I cannot even. Yes. Are they stereotypical characteristics? Yes. It's a reflection of how certain demographics were portrayed back then. Do I like it? No. Hollywood really, if you think about it, has not changed in that regard, but it's a reflection of the time period. They are blips within the cartoons themselves. Children won't even notice, and if the parents want to teach the children anything, they will teach them that. The Stories Matter section explains the Crows, a musical number, pay homage to racist minstrel shows, where white performers wore blackened faces and tattered clothing imitated and ridiculed enslaved Africans on southern plantations. Again, portrayed history. It is the reflection of the time period. I cannot reiterate this enough. You don't want to watch it, don't. It's that fucking simple. If you don't want to give Disney any money, don't get the streaming service. Leave it up to the people to decide. It added, the leader of the group is Dumbo is Jim Crow. That's a little on the nose there. Which shares the name of laws that reinforced or enforced racial segregation in the southern United States. Yes, but parents could use this opportunity to teach their children about that time period, about how it was like this back then, and how it's like this now. When the children either ask or are old enough. But a child of 7, because children under 7 can't watch it, but a child of fucking 7, which is basically 2nd grade, is not watching this, picking apart any bias in it. Dumbo. They're watching a cartoon about a flying elephant. Their focus is going to be on Dumbo. Peter Pan is about a fucking boy who can fly in a land called Neverland, who's battling pirates, aka Captain Hook. They're not picking apart the representation of the Native Americans. Aristocats. Fucking cats are talking and singing. That's what children are looking at. Swiss Family Robinson. They're going to look at the pirates as bad guys. They're not going to be looking at, oh my god, that's a racist portrayal of Middle Eastern and Asian cultures, even though piracy is not exclusive to the West. They're not thinking that. In the Song of the Roustabouts, faceless black workers toil away to offensive lyrics like, when we get our pay, we throw our money all away. As noted above, the aforementioned films remain available for viewing on adult accounts. So basically, all the parents have to do is log into their accounts and the children can watch it. So why did you even bother blocking it on their accounts? Most parents, I mean, from what I can gather, will most likely not have their children that young have their own accounts. They'll basically log into their own accounts and say, this is what you can and can't watch. They'll set the parental controls. They'll make the decisions. Continuing to bear Disney's updated sensitivity disclaimer, which informs audiences that the program includes negative depictions and or mistreatment of people of cultures. Most parents are basically just going to put the cartoon on and just say fuck it. Just say fuck it and let their children watch it. These stereotypes were wrong then and are wrong now, the disclaimer adds. Rather than remove this content, we want to acknowledge its harmful impact, learn from it, and spark conversation to create a more inclusive future together. Most parents grow up with these cartoons. Again, if they want to teach their children about the racial depictions in the cartoons, leave it up to them. If not, most parents just sit their kids in front of the TV, press play, and say, sit here for 2 hours so I can get my shit done. That's what they do. A spokesman for Disney declined the Daily Mail's request for comment. Of fucking course they did. What do you make of this blog? Let us know your thoughts on social media or in the comments down below. Well, there it is, folks. That's the article. So, basically, children under 7 cannot access these cartoons. Now, what parent is letting their child under 7 control that? I mean, that's the parent's fault at that point. Most, I would imagine, if I were a parent, I would have my account and just set controls about what my children can and cannot watch. That's what I would do, because I would be acting as the fucking parent in this case, not Disney. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Do you agree with Disney? Do you disagree with Disney? All that fun stuff. Did you grow up watching these cartoons? Do you agree with them, like, about how they the reflection of the time period and how insensitive it is and so forth, and if Disney's in the right or wrong, let me know. All that good stuff. If you like this video, leave a thumbs up, share on social media if you will. I will try to get a video out tomorrow and then maybe another one out Friday. I have a poll on my Twitter, so if you follow me on Twitter, OGMaraJade, I will be making my return to Twitch late Friday evening, about 10 p.m. or so, because I have a live stream on at 9 p.m. on another channel that I will be part of, so look for that. Your choices are GTA 5, GTA 5 City, Destiny 2, or Witcher 3, so I'm going to let the people decide what game I play when I make my return. So again, like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. This is MaraJade, catching you on the dark side, and fuck Disney.